Brad owned Strand Studio, a sleek unisex salon on Victoria Island. He had built it from scratch, moved from Cape Town with 2 suitcases and a clear vision, and turned it into one of the most talked about spots on the island. Expatriates loved him, locals trusted him. The man knew his craft cold. Brad was never the worried type, but standing behind the reception desk that Tuesday morning, arms folded, coffee in hand, he spoke to himself, not realizing how audible he was. Something did not add up, and it had been sitting with him for weeks. Every client walked in, glanced at the board, and picked the basic cut. 10,000 naira. Done and dusted. His premium styling session at 25,000 naira barely moved. The service was exceptional, he knew that without question, but the bookings told a different story. Maybe I should nudge the price down a bit, he said, tilting his head at the board, just to get it moving. Leave that price exactly where it is. Brad turned around. Clarity was seated in the waiting area, one leg crossed over the other, a well-worn copy of a business book resting on her lap. She had lived in 4 countries, built 2 businesses, and carried herself with the kind of quiet authority that made people listen before she even finished a sentence. She had been coming to Strand Studio for 3 months, and Brad had always sensed she was someone worth knowing. She stood up, walked to the board, and studied it the way a doctor reads a chart. Your service is not the problem, Brad. Your instinct is sharp, and your reputation holds, but this board is giving your clients no anchor. 25,000 naira is floating out there with nothing beside it to show them what it is really worth. So their brain does the only thing it knows how to do. It calls it expensive and reaches for the cheaper option. You do not need to lower your price. You need a decoy. Brad uncrossed his arms slowly. A decoy. Yes. She picked up the marker sitting on the counter and added 1 clean line to the board. Luxury experience, full styling, scalp treatment, hot towel finish, priority booking. 50,000 naira. Brad looked at it, then looked at her. Nobody's walking in here and dropping 50,000 naira on a haircut. She set the marker down and turned to face him. Brad, that is the entire point. That price is not there to be bought. It is there to do a job. The moment a client sees 50,000 naira, their brain recalibrates. Then their eyes move to 25,000 naira, and something shifts. It stops feeling like the expensive option. It starts feeling like the smart one. Brad said nothing. He had heard pricing talk before, but this landed differently. The next client walked in that afternoon, a young professional in a sharp blazer. She scanned the board, paused at 50,000 naira, raised both brows, then slid her gaze to the premium session. She tilted her head slightly, the way people do when something surprises them in a good way. Actually, the premium is really solid value. I will take that one. She did not even glance at the basic cut. Brad stood at the counter watching her settle into the chair and felt something click quietly into place. He had not changed the scissors. He had not changed the products. He had not changed a single thing about what he did. He had only changed what his price was standing next to. Within a month, premium bookings had tripled. When Clarity came in for her next appointment, Brad met her at the door with a look that said everything. She smiled, sat down, and said simply, "People cannot see value clearly until they have something to measure it against. You were not overpriced, Brad. You were just unframed. Give people the right comparison and the decision makes itself." She opened her book while the stylist prepared her station. Most people price based on what something costs them. Successful people price based on how the mind reads a menu. That gap, right there, is where everything changes. Share this with someone who keeps lowering their prices, hoping more people will say yes. They need to see this first. Subscribe to the Clarity Lab. The next story is coming.